idea for a movie. You know that MTV movie Bad Grandpa that came out a couple years back? Let's do a movie just like that. We'll get Robert De Niro and Zac Efron, since Zac Efron did an impersonation of Robert De Niro in the movie Neighbors, and we'll call it Dirty Grandpa. Ah, that's a great idea, right? Dirty Grandpa, directed by Dan Mazer, starring Zac Efron, Robert De Niro, Julianne Hough, Zoe Douche, Aubrey Plaza, Dermot Mulroney. This movie comes out at the perfect time in the Hollywood dumping ground month, January. Or at least one of the Hollywood dumping ground months of bad movies. It's got one of these recycled plots that we've seen a dozen times in movies. The plot is you have Robert De Niro's character, Richard Kelly, or in the movie he's called Dick Kelly. He has just lost his wife who died of cancer. He wants to reconnect with his grandson, Jason Kelly, played by Zac Efron, who is a corporate lawyer, very much a stiff since he's sold his soul to the private sector. Richard believes that Jason doesn't really belong as a corporate lawyer. Jason was once a photographer and had dreams of traveling the world and everything. Richard wants to see if he can put him back on that path, and Richard also has this desire, now that he's a widower, to have sex again with some new woman, a college girl, who in this movie happens to be played by Aubrey Plaza. As best friends to Jason's ex-girlfriend, Shada, played by Zoe Douche. But Jason is currently being engaged to Julianne Hough's character, Meredith, who's someone that he works with at the firm. And she is basically your typical bad kind of girlfriend, which we've seen in these kind of recycled plots we've seen a dozen times. And that's pretty much our movie. Robert De Niro doing raunchy, dirty jokes with Zac Efron as a straight man, and there's a lot of shock jock humor in this. You have a drug dealer that is very annoying, almost like the Jar Jar Binks of the movie, and Dermot Mulroney plays Zac Efron's father. He's barely in the movie that much, but he's okay in the film with what little time he has. And that's pretty much our film. Now, the main positive thing of this movie is the chemistry between Zac Efron and Robert De Niro. They have pretty good chemistry in this movie. They work very well with each other, and the comedy is very good. Aubrey Plaza is pretty good in the movie, playing the part that she has, and her comedic timing is very good in the movie as well. Zoe Douche is your cliche love interest in this kind of plot we've seen recycled a dozen times. But she has a pretty good role, and there is maybe some chemistry between Zac Efron and Zoe Douche. Not that much, really, but there's some. Julianne Hough plays your typical bad love interest in the movie that's very stiff and very inconsiderate. Then you have the annoying drug dealer, which, oh man, I wish this guy wasn't in the movie so much. he's practically in the whole movie, and I don't know why he was in the whole movie. There's an annoying cousin that pops up every once in a while. The movie's just not that good. But then again, it's a movie called Dirty Grandpa. What do you expect? It's coming out in January. Some of the jokes do hit, and I did like some of the scenes. There's a nice scene where Zoe Douche and Zac Efron are doing karaoke. That was kind of nice. There was a scene where Robert De Niro and Zac Efron are doing a muscle contest with two other college guys during the spring break scenes, and that was pretty funny. And some of the other dirty jokes that happened in the movie were pretty funny, but overall, I was pretty much hanging my head because some of the raunchy humor I was really not liking. I do like raunchy humor when it's done right. And some of the raunchy humor was done right in this movie, but other raunchy jokes were not done so well, so it's a bit of a mixed bag here with this movie. Overall, it's an okay film, but I would say that it's basically a rental. So I'm going to have to give this movie a C. If you really desire to see it, I say wait until it comes out on Netflix or Redbox and rent it. There are much better films out to see in the theaters right now, because the Oscar nominees are still out and Star Wars is still out as well, and some other films, so you're better off seeing something else. And that's all I gotta say for Dirty Grandpa.